This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Joe Schad. How you doing, baby? You doing all right? You hanging in there?
I'm doing well, Big O.
So, question for you. We played before you came on. We played Pepe Le Pew's response to Omar Kelly on what improvement he's seen from the offensive line, and there was a lot of stumbling and a bumbling there. Your thoughts on the coach? Is he the right guy? Did Flo choose the wrong guy in your eyes?
Well, Big O, Lem Jean-Pierre is a nice guy, and he probably was put in a position that was a little bit more than he was ready for, just based on the results of the Dolphins' offensive line from both a running game and pass protection perspective. It seems clear that Brian Flores miscalculated when he failed to hire an experienced veteran offensive line coach to help a very inexperienced young offensive line. I have a little bit of empathy for Jean-Pierre, who might very well go on to become a very capable offensive line coach in the NFL or in college football, because he's so cautious. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing. He doesn't want to say something that would upset Brian Flores. And so that's why he's so careful with his words. A lot of Dolphins assistant coaches are like that, because I can imagine that Flores is really putting the pressure on them. Hey, don't say anything that can cause a problem with me or our players.
No, I'm with you. Listen, and I kind of said the same thing, that I don't blame him. You know what I mean? It's just you're going to take the job if it's offered. You're going to take on the challenge. I mean, any of us will take on, those of us that have any kind of confidence in ourselves, we're going to take on challenges whether we're ready or not. We're still going to be, ballsy enough to do it. So God bless him for taking it on. And it's clear that he is completely out of his element. But then this leads to the question and my concerns all year long, even during the streak, that I've never been impressed with this coaching staff. And I don't know. Well, no, I'm sorry. I do know, because I've watched it for 3 years. I don't think Flo can build a strong coaching staff. So should I feel that way? Should Dolphin fans feel that way? How do you feel about the power that Flo has, or Rolodex, to be able to put together a great staff?
Yeah, I mean, Flores faces one of the challenges that many coaches who coached many years in one place have, and that is, what is the extent of their coaching network? Obviously, the first offensive coordinator hire was Chad O'Shea, who Flores had worked with, and that only lasted 1 year. Then he turns to Chan Gailey, who probably came recommended from Ryan Fitzpatrick. The performance last year was better than the performance this year. I think Flores made a mistake when he failed to choose a coach that he wasn't personally familiar with. He interviewed a bunch of coaches with good reputations and good bad pedigree and didn't offer any of them the position. I'm guessing that Flores didn't feel, well, this is an educated guess, that Flores didn't feel comfortable entirely with those candidates. And a large part of that is, well, I don't know them. And so this is catch-22, but I think that Flores obviously needs to get the next offensive coordinator hire right, assuming that there is a new coordinator next year.
What faith do you? Because I have no faith he can get me a good QB coach. He can't get me a good O-line coach. He can't get me a good OC, because I'm not impressed with anything on the offensive line, Joe. That's like, how am I supposed to feel good about that after what I've watched for 3 years now? That he can't. Nobody stays either, Joe, and they're all young. Like, normally, that's kind of an odd thing, isn't it? Because normally young coaches will seek a few elder coaches because they want that experience, guys they can lean on, guys that can help them. it almost seems like there's an ego thing in the way there that he doesn't want a lot of difference of opinions.
Well, we're going to see what happens at the Senior Bowl. That's where a lot of coaching communication occurs. And I don't know if Brian Flores is going to go to the Senior Bowl.
Why? Why would you say that?
Well, I did not go to last year's Senior Bowl. Did you? Do you know if Brian? Well, Brian
No,
Flores
I haven't
coached in
gone the
last
last
year's
2
Senior
years.
Bowl.
Yeah, the access has been dog crap, so I have not gone the last 2 years, my brother.
Big O, I think that one of the things is that head coaches are going to the Senior Bowl and the Combine, certainly the Senior Bowl less. But,
Okay.
you know, it used to be where you interview coaches and things like that, so I don't know. But we're going to see what Brian Flores can come up with. You know, listen, I would not be afraid as a young, sharp offensive mind, whether it's from college football or an NFL staff, to come work with Brian Flores, because I think he has the defense figured out. And if you have the confidence in yourself, hey, I'm going to put up enough points, you will win and you will have long-term security. So my point is that I don't think being the Dolphins offensive coordinator, coaching with Brian Flores is a bad gig. I think if you have confidence in yourself and your plan, you will win here. I do think that.
Have you heard that it's tough to get along with him?
I mean, listen, obviously Brian Flores is a demanding coach. He will tell you that he's a demanding coach. He demands a lot of hours. He has a high level of expectation. You know, there are many coaches who are challenging and challenge you.
Have you in covering the team now and digging, has anybody told you in the building that they've had trouble with him getting along with him? Because that's what I hear, that there are problems in that building, and working for him is a very difficult situation. That's what I'm hearing. So that's why I ask you if you hear the same things.
Yeah, like I said, and I have to move outside at this time.
Got a lot of
I
echo.
hope the internet connection stays.
Oh, you're in a stairwell. That's why. Okay. All right. No, you're mute. Oh, there we go.
I have to wrap up here in a couple of minutes, but what I was saying is, thank you. What I was saying is that, yeah, obviously he's a demanding guy. And every coach is going to have to sort through what they think, what situation they want to go into.
All right. When you start to look at changes, where do you anticipate changes being made this offseason?
Yeah, listen, next week is going to be interesting. We're going to obviously find out in the coming weeks whether or not there are massive changes on the coaching staff, whether there are any changes in the front office. Thank you. Whether, are any folks reassigned or any folks let go. Obviously, you would expect changes to the offensive coaching staff. And obviously, there's going to have to be a large change in offensive personnel relative to the players on the roster. They're going to have to go out and identify in free agency in the draft which offensive linemen they need to add, which receivers they need to add, who's finally going to be the solution at the running back position. And most of the questions for me come on the offensive side of the ball. And obviously they're going to have to figure out whether or not they need to revisit the quarterback situation. I think they will.
Okay, so changes. Will we be talking Watson, and will we be talking Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it would be a surprise if there was if there was not a change on the offensive coaching staff. Now, it's Brian Flores' decision; it's his staff. Could there be some pressure from other people in the organization to make changes on the offensive coaching staff? Absolutely. How would Flores respond to that? I'm not quite sure, but I think even Flores would have to admit that changes on the offensive coaching staff are in order.
So, what about the Harbaugh stuff? How do you read into all of that? Because, Joe, he took a pay cut last year. So to me, I don't really think this is about the Dolphins. I think this is him and his agent. Like, yeah, my value is pretty high right now because I won the Big Ten and I beat Ohio State. Let me go get that money back that I gave back to the university or something. I almost get that feeling that that's what it's all about. And I know because of Stephen Ross, people are now running with it and saying, "Well, will Stephen Ross now want Jim Harbaugh as his head coach?" So I ask you now, what do you think about all the Harbaugh talk, and where is that headed, and what's your gut tell you what Harbaugh's trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed, in all likelihood, relative to the Dolphins, obviously on that path previously. And I don't think you really could make a good argument that Flores could be with them. I mean, the first year he was here, and auto rebuild and a complete teardown roster.
You broke up. You're breaking up badly there. You're breaking up badly there.
The Dolphins have some things that they need to fix, especially on offense. But I don't sense at all to move on from Brian Flores. Jim Harbaugh is a good football coach, but you want to talk about difficult to work with. I've heard this guy, from a player and coaching perspective, is more difficult to work with than Flores.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I think this is all just to get more money. I think John Harbaugh is built for men. I think Jim Harbaugh is built for kids. That's just me. That's kind of the way I view those brothers. But that's just me. Right? I don't know if you heard me. You got me?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that Harbaugh's NFL run, the way it ended, sort of led you to believe that he's not long for any one place, and the Dolphins would prefer to have a coach who's around for a while. No reason Flores can't be that guy.
All right, Joe, we'll talk pregame this Sunday as the Dolphins wrap up the season against the Patriots, my friend. You go do your thing. Appreciate you taking some time.
Thanks, Big O. Good talking to you, buddy.
You got it. There you go. Joe Schad with our American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report.
When you're ready to...
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.